Joan Rivers said that Michelle Obama was a man before she died.
Was that a joke? I thought it was a joke.
I thought it was a joke too, but the way she said it wasn't like jokey. She was like, oh, come on, everybody knows Michelle Obama's a man. Like, remember that?
Yeah, like, would Big Mike kill you for that?
Well, I think she died because she had 1,000 plastic surgeries. But
yeah, she was going under.
Yeah.
She just sees these big black arms coming over her face. Big Mike.
Bro.
They blame gender for her surrender. This week, Michelle Obama scolded female Trump supporters in front of an audience at a business conference in Boston, a city in Massachusetts. She said the former First Lady, quote, "Any woman who voted against Hillary Clinton voted..."
Forget the sugar-coated stories and rehearsed public speeches. Michelle Obama just got steamrolled by the sharp-tongued duo of Joe Rogan and Greg Gutfeld. What happened next wasn't just playful banter. It was an unfiltered dose of truth blasted in high definition. They tore apart the elite facade, the staged photo shoots, and the never-ending healthy eating preachiness with biting humor and no tolerance for fluff. No sparkle, no elegance. Just a brutal critique that left the former First Lady's polished image shaking like a wilted White House vegetable patch.
Obama did it, where he repeated that lie about Donald Trump talking about white supremacists saying they're very fine people on both sides. Let's play it.
Said that there were very fine people on both sides of a white supremacist rally.
You had some very bad people in that group, but you also had people that were very fine people on both sides. And you had people, and I'm not talking about the neo-Nazis and the white nationalists, because they should be condemned totally. But you had many people in that group other than neo-Nazis and white nationalists, okay?
That's crazy. I have never seen that last part of it.
Will the Dems ever win again? As long as they keep hating men. Our video of the day is a 2-for-1 man haters special. First up, Michelle trashes dudes while urging women to act more like them.
That's always hedging, you know, because in the back of our minds, we weren't raised with the certainty of maleness that, you know, kind of the confidence that young men in their 30s have.
If you're enjoying this video, be sure to subscribe to the channel and tap the notification bell. Over the past decade, Michelle Obama has somehow coasted on a celebrity status built more on polished image management than actual achievement. She's managed to turn kale into a political symbol, dance routines into something resembling public policy, and catchy motivational phrases into an entire media brand. At this rate, she's just one uplifting Instagram post away from marketing bottled air under the label Hope.
Michelle thinks American men suck.
Let me warn you, your rage does not exist in a vacuum. If we don't get this election right, your wife, your daughter, your mother, we as women will become collateral damage to your rage. To the women listening, we have every right to demand that the men in our lives do better by us.
What's that pitter-patter sound I'm hearing in the background? It's the footsteps of Barack running to vote for Trump.
Joe Rogan and Greg Gutfeld didn't simply poke fun at her. They held up a mirror to the polished, overhyped Michelle Obama persona and posed the most uncomfortable question of all. What has she actually accomplished recently? Aside from reflecting on how difficult it was to be praised by the press while residing in a mansion paid for by taxpayers.
She had her kids. Were they private or public? Like, when he was a senator?
I don't know. I just know that...
Like, he was a senator, right?
Yes.
Before he became president.
For sure.
So
I don't...
went law school, Senate.
I have no issue because I want to live. I have no issue with Big Mike. I don't care that they killed that sex slave in Martha's Vineyard. That's what happens to sex slaves. They drown in ponds. That's what happens. You fuck the ruling class, you drown a pond. That's what happens. If you get your little mouthy, you go into the pond. I don't have a problem with it. I have no problem. I think it's good. I actually think it's good. I think it makes our country fun. I think it makes us unique. I think Putin and them are scared of that shit.
They do it all the time.
I think Putin and the Chinese are like, you don't know what's going on there. Because they got people that maybe they're men, maybe they're women, we don't know.
Let's be real. Michelle's most notable achievement since leaving the White House has been reminding everyone that vegetables exist. She launched an all-out assault on school lunches, treating cafeteria pizza like it was America's top threat. Meanwhile, students across the country were left mourning into their quinoa, hoping for the glorious comeback of salt. As world leaders stumbled through global chaos, Michelle was out there turning kids' lunches into tearful battles over sweet potatoes and carrot sticks.
Obama surprised fans on our new podcast by saying her pet peeve about her husband is that he's chronically late. For example, we're still waiting on him to admit he's from Kenya. And as for Barack's pet peeve about Michelle, he's mad that she keeps leaving the toilet seat up. When she cleans it.
Rogan, unsurprisingly, targeted this legacy with pinpoint sarcasm. To him, Michelle isn't a political leader, she's basically a walking TED Talk. She drifts through pop culture, serving up comforting one-liners while steering clear of anything that demands real bravery. It's all image, no substance. And the moment someone questions the storyline, her supporters react as if she just cured cancer with kale and a jump rope.
Having a good time. The country's almost back to normal before World War III. COVID was just so strange. We lost a lot of people during COVID, and most of them are still alive. Yeah. Before COVID, I would have told you that vaccines are the most important invention in human history. After COVID, I'm like, I don't think we went to the moon. I think Michelle Obama's got a dick. I think Pizzagate is real. I think there's direct energy weapons and...
Greg Gutfeld, naturally, had no patience for the pretense. He called out the irony in Michelle constantly casting herself as a reluctant public figure. Nothing screams, I just want a normal life, like multi-million-dollar Netflix contracts, sold-out arena tours, and a memoir marketed harder than a Marvel blockbuster. She's the only person in the country who claims to dislike politics while subtly teasing presidential ambitions between podcast episodes. She wants both worlds, above the mess but endlessly praised, out of politics yet perpetually political, a private citizen with a security team and a media entourage that could rival the Pentagon. Michelle has mastered the art of playing neutral while quietly campaigning. This is someone who lectures Americans on inequality from a throne funded by streaming deals, book advances, and speaking fees that exceed most people's annual salaries. Her talk of struggle rings about as genuine as a Whole Foods ad. Michelle's idea of hardship is discovering the organic arugula was a bit wilted on her private jet.
What does it mean for us as women that we look at those two candidates and many of us said, that guy, he's better for me. His voice is more true to me. Well, to me, that just says you don't like your voice. You like the thing you're told to like. I don't get this. No one likes their own voice. Have you ever listened to your own voicemail? It is horrifying.
Greg Gutfeld wasn't buying Michelle's polished victim routine either. She spent more time complaining about how tough it was being First Lady than some folks do juggling 3 jobs. And the irony? She was adored. The media showered her with praise, late-night hosts practically bowed at her feet, and the public was smitten. She could have stumbled off a stage and Vogue would have spun it as an elegant commentary on gravity. But instead of acknowledging any of that, Michelle keeps acting like she was banished to political Siberia with nothing but a salad spinner and a dream. This never-ending victim narrative from someone handed a golden platform, only to use it to scold the nation about school lunches, isn't just ridiculous, it's downright offensive. There are aspiring writers stuck in basements who've penned entire trilogies on trauma without even scoring a local book club invite. Meanwhile, Michelle's out here publishing her emotions like they're top-secret war documents.
A gay needing attention over a old letter. What? I should read that again. Anyway, we'll just keep going. The New York Post obtained a redacted portion of a handwritten letter the former president sent to his then-college girlfriend, Alex McNear. Alex, eh? Back in 1982. He talked about his, quote, androgynous mind and wrote, and I'm quoting Obama here, I make love to men daily, but in the imagination.
Rogan couldn't help but laugh at the irony of a woman who spent years in the spotlight insisting she craves privacy. Right before inking another multi-million-dollar media deal. Her privacy has become a goldmine. She's managed to turn mystique into merchandise. She could slap my private truths on a blank journal and it would top the charts by lunchtime. Greg didn't overlook the double standard either. Michelle can deliver the most lukewarm, recycled catchphrases about unity and hope, and people respond like she just brought peace to the Middle East with yoga and essential oils. Meanwhile, anyone even slightly right of center barely breathes wrong, and suddenly they're trending online with fascism accusations. It's all a performance, so polished and perfectly packaged that you almost forget there's little substance underneath. Michelle's idea of courage is liking a vaguely political tweet or telling a podcast that things are complicated. No clear positions, no real policy, just emotions, curated and studio approved. She's like a political horoscope, vague, harmless, and crafted to please half the audience while putting the rest to sleep.
Saying that Michelle Obama should run for president. If she won, she could pull her cock out and China would just give up. I was fucking wheezing. I couldn't breathe. Big Mike.
Big Mike. Big Mike.
It's like crazy. Come on, tell me it isn't one of the fun things about the internet.
Of course.
These
It's
crazy
so fun.
conspiracies are fun.
We had a cab driver on the way back from like Dixie Chicks or something, and he goes halfway back. He goes, Dixie Chicks? Yeah. He goes, where do you guys get your news?
Just so proud of how you are being a role model for dealing with a child that's transgender.
Absolutely.
And that's, that warms my heart, particularly as a Black man,
And when it comes to politics, Michelle always stays right on the edge, never fully stepping in, but never truly stepping out. Just enough presence to grab headlines, but never enough to take any real risks. She wants the praise without the pressure, the cheers without the responsibility. It's political cosplay, with the costume changing depending on the size of the speaking fee. Greg pointed out how absurd it is that everything Michelle says is instantly treated like scripture. She could tweet, "Stay hydrated," and CNN would slap a breaking news banner on it. She's turned basic advice into a full-blown brand, and the wild part is, people eat it up like it's groundbreaking. Meanwhile, Greg reminded everyone that when you peel away the documentaries and book deals, Michelle's actual political legacy mainly involves making school lunches a little sadder. That's really it. No major reforms, no sweeping change, just more celery, less ketchup. Yet somehow, she exited the White House with more political clout than people who've actually passed legislation. She's the only First Lady to leave office and grow in political influence, not by doing more, but by doing less, only better. A few carefully worded speeches, a top-tier stylist, and a masterful knack for never saying anything too specific. If that's the new gold standard, then the bar isn't low. It's buried deep beneath the last surviving copies of her husband's stimulus plan.
Divorce rumors continue to escalate for the Obamas. Hopefully they can settle it like men. Terrible that you would applaud that.
Rogan called it exactly what it is, political performance art. Michelle Obama is the headliner of the world's longest-running TED Talk, and America is sitting there politely clapping, still trying to figure out if anything meaningful was actually said. She's mastered the art of resonating without revealing. People feel inspired, but can't quite explain why. Gutfeld took it a step further, calling out the media machine that treats every Instagram post like sacred scripture. She could upload a blurry pic of her dog, and pundits would dissect it like it holds the key to international diplomacy. Meanwhile, anyone else who tries to be real is labeled unpolished or unfit. The double standard is comical, but the consequences are serious. Like every influencer, she's now more brand than person. Her most celebrated moments are carefully curated, rehearsed, and deliberately bland. No bold positions, no hard truths, just soft empathy and trendy concern. And somehow, we're all supposed to pretend this is leadership. It's not. It's theater.
Rogan is calling out Oprah and Michelle Obama for hypocritical speeches at the DNC. Watch.
She's up there talking about income inequality. Like, hey, lady.
Yeah, I know.
You're rich as Like, how is that equal? And also, when Michelle Obama was saying, I think she was saying her mother or grandmother was always suspicious of people who took more than they needed.
Yes.
Like, you are worth so much money.
Take more than they need. The Obamas have 4 mansions.
I mean, it's a bunch of rich people talking about rich people.
Joe Rogan and Greg Gutfeld didn't just shatter the myth, they dismantled it piece by piece. They mocked the contradictions, the manufactured image, and the near-religious admiration for someone who hasn't taken a politically courageous step in over a decade. It wasn't cruel, It was overdue. Someone had to say it. Beneath the polished brand, Michelle Obama is just another member of the elite, coasting on nostalgia and softly lit documentaries. Yet the performance continues. The lighting stays gentle, the messaging remains vague, and the applause never fades. But now, the cracks are starting to show. Because when the gloss fades, all that's left is the record, and it's thinner than a cafeteria kale chip. And just when you think Michelle couldn't elevate herself any higher on the pedestal she's built, boom, it becomes pure performance art. She's the only person who can wear a designer pantsuit, fly private, and still call herself a voice for the oppressed with a straight face.
Even if they run Michelle. According to a new poll, Michelle Obama isn't as strong a Democratic candidate against former President Donald Trump as many Dems would have you believe. In a hypothetical matchup, my favorite kind. Trump wins with 47% of the vote compared to Michelle Obama's 44%. I guess some of the kids whose school lunches she ruined are finally old enough to vote.
Meanwhile, Joe Rogan's laughing because he's seen wild elk with more grounding than Michelle Obama's post-White House transformation. And Greg Gutfeld? He's still wiping away tears, not from emotion, but from the sheer absurdity of Michelle lamenting the burden of fame while basking under studio lights and collecting millions to do so. She's perfected the craft of being iconic simply by existing. She doesn't even need to speak anymore, just walks into a room, arches an eyebrow, and boom, another headline worthy of a TED Talk. The media reacts like she just reinvented the wheel. Then she turns around and urges the country to eat more greens while quietly posing with a $2,000 Wagyu burger and truffle fries backstage. The gap between her message and her lifestyle isn't just ironic, it's Olympic-level mental gymnastics. Somewhere out there, Michelle's probably planning a humility lecture tour with front row seats going $4,100. Don't worry, it includes a free bookmark and a bonus guilt trip about your snack choices. And that's where it wraps for now. Thanks to Joe and Greg ripping the glossy veneer off this best-selling illusion, the world's finally starting to read the fine print. Stay tuned, because this slow-motion spectacle of curated perfection isn't coming to a stop. It's just switching outfits.